that was the good OCs for this week. Let's move on to the bad OCs. So, Smooth, show us what bad OC you brought today. Except, it's totally not a bad OC. It's a good Part 2 OC.
Yay! This is Loralee. She's about teenage. She's rash, headstrong.
So she's a teenager.
Yeah. She doesn't go out looking for fights, but, she doesn't back down. If one happens, she doesn't back down. But she's kind in comparison to at least most teenage dragons, and especially has a soft spot for small creatures. She loves shiny things, just like most dragons as far as we know, and is already starting on her collection and her hoard since she was young. Her specific subspecies of dragon is that she is a poison dragon who usually live in swamps, only in like pairs or little tiny groups kind of things. So they aren't like giant hordes like seen in the Great Dragon Migration. She's usually, poison dragons don't have a lot of company. Her wings aren't actually like real wings. They're kind of like fans or sails that go up from her tail, as exemplified there. So they're more gliding than flying.
Yeah.
She's slower than most other dragons, but she doesn't use as much energy while traveling, meaning poison dragons are probably also incredibly light in comparison to other dragons. Usually stay low to the ground, crouch walk as their normal way of walking. Bumps on their tails, so their tails can actually be used as club-type weapons, and every tip that can be seen that has little dots of orange or giant parts of orange are actually where the poison part of Poison Dragon comes from.
Oh, sick!
Mm-hmm. If you get that, you might want to, it's deadly.
Okay, wait. So the poison comes out of where again?
All of the places that are orange.
All of the places that come out.
So
okay.
Her nails, her teeth, and her tail.
Okay. So here's a quick thing then. You may not want to call it a poison dragon then, because poison is something you eat. Venom is something that gets put into you. So if it's kind of one of those little things where it's like, call it a venom dragon if like she injects venom into people, because that's what venom is. If you eat venom doesn't matter if you eat it. Poison matters if you eat it.
Her father left way before she was born, so she was just raised by her mother. Most of her age until she was like a teenager wasn't very interesting in the swamp that she lived in. At one point they set off for the Great Dragon Migration, but while going through the Everfree, they were attacked by a Hydra, and her mother did not make it.
Aww.
Ever since then, Loralee pretty much has been hanging out in a cave.
That sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shit happens, yo.
Yeah. Overall, I like this character, and I like the concept of poison dragons, but there's just one thing that really bugs me about this character, and something about this character just seems like it's missing, and I don't know what it is. Like, there's a random part that just feels empty, and I can't pinpoint it. Going over this character, when I try to think of it, it seems like it's all there and everything works. But for some reason, it just doesn't
outlines?
feel No, it's not visually. It's the characterization.
I don't know what to tell you there, Smooth.
Maybe just expand upon what's already there, because maybe that'll help. I hope that'll help, but for now, to me, it just feels a little empty-ish. I don't know. I don't know why. I'm sorry.
Hey, shit happens.
But other than that, she seems like she has really good characterization and stuff. You have anything to say?
I like it. I mean, this is the other thing. Like, before it was like, okay, this is obviously one of those baby dragon ones, and this is obviously one of the teenage dragon ones. And there's probably a couple of OCs out there that are like, okay, this is the adult version of those dragons. And it's very much like, these are the 3 sections that we live in for the dragons because that's what's been presented to us. We very rarely see anything on the in-between scale. Scale?
Because they weigh.
Yeah, because they have mass.
Yes.
Yes. I like the coloring on this one. Like, me personally, I really like purple. I like lavender. I like how some people can mix a light lavender with a rich plum. I like it when lavender is mixed with white. It creates a very nice, clean-looking character. Or even outfits and clothing and whatnot. But it's just like, yeah, that's a nice color. It looks good. I like it.
And it looks like a really good version of pastel purples and oranges working together.
The sails are just a little bit too... They're not... Like, because when I think of gliders, I think of, like, huge wings that would be able to go for, like, miles without needing to, like, flap or whatever. Like, I'm thinking of, like, birds that fly from freaking, like an albatross. Albatrosses have huge wings.
Yeah, so they can actually glide.
Yeah.
Overall, I say maybe expand upon this character a bit. Colorization is good. And if you make more pictures of this character, I guess for the sake of being able to see everything correctly, outlines, they seem a bit close at points.
Yeah. Well then, thank you for that one there, Smooth. Time to take a look at my bad OC this week. Is Ember Kindle Dragon. It's really just Ember, but there's also a nickname of Kindle, and I'll explain that later. Yeah, they're kind of going for that whole dragon that's in between a baby and a teenage dragon, and it works. It kind of looks like that adolescent dragon look, but not quite to the point of like with Lauralee, like we just looked at.
Yeah.
But the backstory on this one's a little interesting because the story for this works as though Generation 1 of ponies and Generation 2 and Generation 3 and then Generation 4 of all these different My Little Pony shows we've had over the years, as if that was one continuous narrative and they were whole generations of ponies. Because Ember was hatched in the G1 era of ponies. It's actually, Ember, left his nest when he was young to claim that he was a big dragon, and that whole sort of never looking back sort of thing, and which kind of sucks because he was gone for weeks, and everybody else just kind of assumed he died.
Oh my.
Yeah, and he wandered aimlessly for months. Apparently he came across a flutter pony. Apparently the pony was sad and lonely, so eventually they became friends and sympathy and whatnot. And then it's like, he and blah, 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 started living together. Being interested more in each other, and eventually love interest. Flutter Pony, or Sugar Sweet, gave him the name Kindle as a nickname. And then flash forward 100 years, or a couple of 100 years, to the Generation 4 era, and Sugar Sweet is dead. And then eventually he just mourns the loss and lives in silence. Mourns his loss in silence by himself. And I assume Ember is what this looks like, I guess, today? I don't know. Or before, shortly after. I don't know, because then...
Time is weird.
This is even weird, because it's like, okay, well then what do you do? Like, is this tween-age dragon, like, now? Like, what it is, in theory, canonically with where the show is? Or is this when, like, before the time of the Crystal Empire, Discord, Tyrek, and all Luna's banishment?
In, oh crap, that one episode where Spike did thing, I don't remember.
Dragon Quest?
No, the whole greed one, where he only grew in size because of his greed.
He grew faster in size because of his greed.
That was exponentially.
Yeah.
Maybe since he was around someone who he apparently loved, he didn't feel the compulsion for the whole greed thing, so he didn't age that much.
Mm-hmm.
So he never, like, started his own horde, and never actually that, ever. So, other than that, maybe, I guess that's why he looks like this after a whole 100 years, or several hundred years.
Huh. I never equated a horde to their levels of greed. Like, as you build a horde, you slowly grow bigger and bigger.
As
That's
your
really
horde
interesting.
grows, so do you.
Huh. That is an interesting concept. That actually is very interesting, considering the fact that it's like they're so attached to this pony they absolutely love, and blah, 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 yada, yada. But, I don't know.
And then once they're gone, you really have nothing, and no bauble can fit that hole that's now there. That's the emptiness only you can fill yourself.
What do you think about the whole color scheme on this one?
I think the color scheme generally works out, but I feel like this one falls more into the recolor of Spike kind of thing that we said earlier.
Yeah.
Sort of. But he has wings, that's something. At least the fins on the side of the head look different. And the spine going down seems like it looks different at least.
Yeah, it's definitely further back on the head.
Yeah, but this one is more Spike-like than the others we showed today.
Well, his arms are longer, for sure.
Oh, definitely. That might be the whole age thing.
Yeah. We're gonna go move into voting!
Yay!
So, this, like we did with voting the other weeks, we're going to do it the same way. If I like Smooth's OC more, and he still likes his, he wins. If I like my OC more, and he likes my OC more, I win. If we like each other's more, or our own more, we both tie. We gotta do the rock, paper, scissors thing. So, that being said, for good OCs this week, I brought in Flurry by Ask Splash Sparks. And then Smooth brought in Talador by Rotten Pastel Cutie, which that one was easier to say. I don't know why.
Alliteration.
Exactly. So, Smooth, was I able to convince you that mine is better than the one you brought in?
It might be a little difficult, but I keep my vote toward Talador.
Okay. I'm going to give my
Vote.
swayed choice to Talador. So Smooth wins good OC this week.
Yay.
Congratulations.
And that will move us on to voting of the bad OCs.
Bad OCs, or Smooth's Good Part 2 and my bad OC.
I'd almost say that neither of us brought a bad OC. Just something that, like, would be odd to bring on for good, maybe, but doesn't really belong in bad either.
But since they are in the quote-unquote bad section, we should still review it as which one we like the least.
I think I'll go with Ember. It's very, very difficult. Ember has just like a little bit less like actual characterization maybe, but yet it's so freaking deep. Brings up deep topics, but there wasn't a lot about him really, I guess. And his design isn't very impressive or out there in comparison to Laurelie's, I guess. I'm just trying to pretty much make up reasons at this point. I'm sorry.
There are reasons that exist, but barely detract from the quality of the character.
Right.
Exactly. While mine, on the other hand, is a great point that needs to be mentioned about Laurelie that just ruins the character for me. It's not poison, it is venom. I can't vote. No, I'm kidding. I love Laurelie. She looks adorable. She looks lovely. It's funny. I'm going to stick with thinking that Ember is the one that lacks the most. Laurelie just needs a little bit more bolder outlines, but overall it's pretty okay. Ember just feels like it is, like Smooth says, lacking the most. So, that's it for this week. Smooth wins good OC. Yay. Congratulations. I'm happy for you. And I win bad OC. Well, not bad, but, bad-ish. You know, bad-ish.
I mean,
it's kind of
really bad.
It was more like good and OCs this week. It was like, they were, It was hard to pick some. So, in the meantime, if you have any OCs that you want to submit to us, or any questions, because our 1 year thing is coming up pretty soon, and that's going to be a special Q&A. So go ahead and ask any questions, concerns, anything you just want to know about us. We'll do a Q&A little episode. You can submit any of those kind of questions like I just told you about, or any
OCs,
or fan art.
You can submit them at these locations. You can submit them on DeviantArt at eurocsucks.deviantart.com. Our Twitter is at eurocsucks. Our email is eurocsuckspodcast@gmail.com. And our Tumblr is eurocsuckspodcast.tumblr.com.
That has been... Wait, no. We have to find out about who's going next week.
Oh, that's right.
Okay. So, like we did on the last couple episodes, we are doing our 2 episodes. So, we're to run down the list again, we had Mummz and Commander. Then we had myself, Mummified and Commander.
It didn't go in that order. The first one was me and Commander, and then it was you and Commander, and then it was you and Medi, and now it's you and me. The only choices left are on a die 4, which is Commander and Medi, and 6, which is me and Medi.
Quick roll the die. Rolled a 4. Sweet, it got on the first one. Ha! I was worried that it was going to have to be like... Next week is going to be Commander and Medi. They get to fool around with an episode, and it should be super fun. So, I don't know what their theme's going to be. I don't know what they plan on doing for their theme, but in the meantime, my name is Mummified Thunderbirds. I've been joined by...
Smooth Sailing.
And remember, Euro C sucks.